Hello and welcome to Keeping It Young podcast, conversations about marriage, family, and ministry life. I'm Dave.
Surprise! And I am Charity.
Charity has joined us today because this special edition of the Keeping It Young podcast is about Mother's Day. So Bethlie doesn't know we've kicked her out of here, and Charity is taking her place today. Charity is the baby of our family. Don't you love it when I say that?
Not really, but
Why
okay.
not? Because you are the baby of the family. You're just 15. Our church recently sent us a message and said, we're having a baby dedication Sunday. And I said, Charity, you want me to sign you up?
No.
So Charity's going to join me today, and we're going to talk about celebrating and handling Mother's Day. So this is Charity's debut in the podcast world. How's that make you feel?
Great. Feels
Makes
special.
you feel great. Good. Well, I found some wonderful Mother's Day illustrations, and Charity and I are going to just share them with you because we love to laugh.
Oh, yeah.
And so here's a couple of them. All right, are you ready for these, Charity?
Mm-hmm.
Motherhood, this is just motherhood. Motherhood does the right thing.
Eats the piece of cake with the most frosting so the kids won't fight over it.
I love that. Motherhood is consistent.
She continues to watch her middle-aged children for signs of improvement.
That's awesome. Motherhood is proof that evolution is false.
If it were true, she would have likely evolved more than 2 hands.
Motherhood, this one's a great one. Mothers never want to sleep like a baby.
She wants to sleep like her husband.
How many of you ladies identify with that one? I love this one. Mothers can be loud.
Sometimes even the neighbors brush their teeth and get dressed.
For bed. I left off for bed there.
Oh, never mind.
All right, that's right. Those sometimes even the neighbors brush their teeth and get dressed for bed. Mothers can have unique me time.
Sitting down in the bathroom with the door locked and eating Nutella and texting her friends, "How's your day going?"
I like this one too. Mothers can be desperate.
Tucked my kids in bed and said, "I will see you in the morning." And then we laughed and saw each other 16 times before sunrise.
And a lot of you mothers know a lot about that. I like this one too, and I'll just read this one. Mothers know that boys have less drama than girls, but are harder to keep alive.
Truth.
And I've heard that's true. Somewhere along the way, I may have shared some of these on the podcast before, but somewhere along the way, we found this series about things you can learn from a mother, and these are great too. My mother taught me to appreciate a job well done.
If you're going to kill each other, do it outside. I just finished cleaning.
My mother taught me about religion.
You better pray that will come out of the carpet.
My mother taught me about time travel.
If you don't straighten up, I'm going to knock you into the middle of next week.
Have you ever heard that one?
I don't know.
I don't know either. My mother taught me logic.
Because I said so. That's why.
And she taught me more logic.
If you fall out of that swing and break your neck, you're not going to the store with me.
My mother taught me foresight.
Make sure you wear clean underwear in case you're in an accident.
My mother taught me irony.
Keep crying and I'll give you something to cry about.
I like that one. My mother taught me about the science of osmosis.
Shut your mouth and eat your supper.
And about contortionism.
Will you look at that dirt on the back of your neck?
My mother taught me about stamina.
You'll sit there until all that spinach is gone.
And that's stamina, believe me. And about hypocrisy.
If I told you once, I've told you 1,000,000 times. Don't exaggerate.
And my mother taught me about the circle of life.
I brought you into this world and I can take you out.
And about behavior modification.
Stop acting like your father.
You never hear that one, do you?
No.
My mother taught me about envy.
There are millions of less fortunate children in this world who don't have wonderful parents like you do.
Oh, that's so true. My mother taught me about anticipation.
Just wait until we get home.
Oof. My mother taught me about receiving.
You are going to get it when you get home.
There you go. Those two go together.
Yeah.
My mother taught me medical science.
If you don't stop crossing your eyes, they're going to freeze that way.
My mother taught me about ESP.
Put your sweater on. Don't you think I know when you are cold?
I like that one. My mother taught me about humor.
When that lawnmower cuts off your toes, don't come running to me.
That's terrible.
Wow.
And she taught me how to become an adult.
If you don't eat your vegetables, you'll never grow up.
And about genetics.
You're just like your father.
And about roots.
Shut that door behind you. Do you think you were born in a barn?
And 2 more. My mother taught me about wisdom.
When you get to be my age, you'll understand.
That's so true. And a favorite. My mother taught me about justice.
One day you'll have kids, and I hope they turn out just like you.
That's awesome. So to all of you moms out there, Charity and I want to say, Happy Mother's Day. And so a couple of questions we want to answer for you in this special edition. Who do you celebrate on Mother's Day?
Your mom.
And that's exactly right, your mom. But that's not the only person you can celebrate, though you should celebrate your mom. That's the whole point of Mother's Day. You know what? I want to honor my mom. And so we celebrate our mom, but there's others. And who are the others there, Charity, that we can celebrate on Mother's Day?
Your wife, if she's the mother of your children.
No, that's worth thinking through because, guys, it's not wrong to celebrate your mom, but if you are married and your wife is the mother of your children, she is the mom of your children and she's important and you should celebrate her. Mm-hmm. And you can also, I like this one. This will be just fun for some of you people out there. You can celebrate your mom or your wife, but you can also celebrate
your mother-in-law.
Your mother-in-law. And I used to tease Bethlie's mom that the greatest thing she ever did was to help my wife to be a great mom and to be a great wife. So, and I believe that. That really wasn't teasing. I really believe that because she did a great job. There's others you can celebrate. Listen, Mother's Day is a wonderful time of the year. And our country sets aside a day to just honor moms. And in a generation when motherhood is, kind of ridiculed and laughed at a little bit, and so many people think being a mom will, ruin your heart or your lifestyle or even your body in the culture we live in. It's important to celebrate. You may have a second mom, like my second mom or a stepmom. You can list maybe you have a pastor's wife that's been like a mom to you, or a foster mom that just really poured into you and just made a really bright spot in a difficult time in your life. Those are the who's. And so make sure that you celebrate well this Mother's Day. Just determined to celebrate. That's who you celebrate. How should we celebrate Mother's Day, Charity?
Emphasize motherhood.
Now, that's important, dear friends. Emphasize it. Just you pastors, don't be afraid to preach a Mother's Day sermon. I know expositional preaching is important, and sometimes we we're just gonna stay right where we are. But motherhood is so important, and when you live in a culture that sets aside an entire day to celebrate it, and you have people that sometimes will come to church on a special day like Mother's Day that won't come other times, make sure you emphasize motherhood in every way, not just by giving gifts and having mom stand and giving out flowers or candies or chocolates or, weird gifts. And, some people always go, who's the oldest mom and the youngest mom and the mom with the most children? Or you can do what our one friend, I don't know if you remember this pastor or not, Charity, but one pastor we were with, he finds just unique ways. He gives away the gift to the mom with the heaviest purse. And they have a scale up front, and if you think your purse is heavy enough, you come weigh it.
Oh, my.
And he gives one, to the mom with the biggest diaper bag, or the mom, he has how many the mom with the most credit cards, and just humorous ones, just to make everybody laugh. But he's just celebrating motherhood. Motherhood is important. Emphasize it. And don't forget to celebrate the whoever your who is. Sound like Dr. Seuss, don't I?
Yeah.
Whoever your who is, celebrate them. If that's your mom or your wife or your mother-in-law or your foster mom. How do we celebrate mom? Bethlie loves to celebrate, and we love to celebrate as a family. So, Charity, how is it through the years that we've celebrated your mom?
We buy gifts.
We buy gifts. So here's the question. Have you bought a gift yet for your mom?
Not yet.
Not yet. Well, you need to pick it up.
Apparently.
Mother's Day is just around the corner, and it's time to pick it up. We buy gifts. And you may not, have a lot of money. Maybe you can make a gift or, just something small. Gifts don't have to be super expensive, but we buy gifts. That's how we do it. What else do we do?
We plant flowers.
Now, that's a big one to your mom, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And she loves flowers. And when we plant flowers, Mom and I go on a date. Charity's mom and I go on a date, Bethlie and I, and we'll go to a flower shop, either to a Lowe's or a Home Depot, but to a nursery, in the area. There's several of those. And what we do is I just let Bethlie shop. She looks for flowers and picks out the ones she wants, and I pay for them. I set aside actually, between $100 and $200 to do that. And I save that. You didn't know that, did you?
I didn't.
Charity's eyebrows just went right up into the top of her headphones.
What?
But we buy flowers, and then we come home, and what do we do with them?
We plant them.
We get outside, and we plant them, and what do you get to do?
Mulching.
You get to do the mulching. Our kids just love it when I have them come out and help with the mulching around those.
It's great.
And we like the red mulching, don't we?
Not really.
Well, your mom does, and it's
Mom
her
does.
Mother's Day.
Mom does.
Yeah, so we buy gifts. I don't know. You don't have to do what we do. This is what Charity and I and Jake and the family does. We buy gifts. We plant flowers. What else do we do?
We feast.
I like that word, don't you? We feast.
Lot of
Say,
food.
well, we eat. But we do feast. And how do we go about that? What do? We go to church, and then we come home and tell folks how we do the feast thing with Mom.
Well, we get Mom to go in the living room, and then we make her whatever she wants to eat that day, all of us. So we let her rest. We let her, like, watch a movie, or she'll watch Instagram or something like that. And we'll get her like, her favorite snack while we do that, and then we all make the lunch for the day.
Yeah, we do. And what do we normally make? Do you remember?
Pork chops.
Pork chops, because Bethlie loves pork
amazing.
chops. And we make pork chops, usually grill them outside. And while I'm grilling them outside, or Jake, then we have, what else do we have? We have
Potatoes,
some
usually.
baked potatoes usually, and we have some veggies. What veggie are we going to make this year?
I don't know.
Don't know?
No, we could ask Mom.
We probably should think about that, shouldn't we?
Probably should ask Mom.
Yeah, we probably should. And we have rolls, and we always have to buy gluten-free bread for Bethlie because she's not able to eat wheat.
Yes.
And so we get gluten-free rolls and get those ready. And then we always try to find a dessert that she can eat, which is getting harder and harder because your mom eats gluten-free.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what we've done since she's been gluten-free. We buy, we look. I know there's Parlor Donuts in Pensacola that has gluten-free
those are
donuts.
good.
And she loves that. So sometimes we'll, go to a store like that and buy those and then surprise her. Hey, we bought these yesterday for you. And I know Publix in our hometown has a lot of gluten-free stuff.
Yeah.
And if we find a store that has gluten-free stuff, we'll go and try to pick out a dessert. There's these Thin Mint chocolate cookies that she likes that are
likes
gluten-free. And gluten-free Oreos.
Those are amazing.
Those are good. We like those. So we buy gifts and we plant flowers. This is how we celebrate Mother's Day. We feast. And there's two other things we do to celebrate Mother's Day. Number 4.
We speak gratitude.
And tell the folks how we do that. We do this on birthdays and Mother's Day and Father's Day. How do we do that? What do we mean when we say we speak gratitude?
Well, we go one by one, and we tell the person, like, if it's the birthday or, like, Mother's Day, we'll tell Mom what we're thankful for about her.
Yeah. So we either do that at the end of a meal, after we're having dessert, or during dessert, or after dessert, when we're all just kind of relaxed. We'll say, okay, let's take time to tell Mom why we're thankful. And that's usually when we give gifts at the end of a meal.
Yeah.
And then we just take time to either during the meal or sometimes during the evening devotions, right?
Yeah, we usually do devotions.
During the evening devotions. And we'll just say, I'm thankful for you because, and so put your thinking cap on there and see how well you can do. What would Jacob say? He would say, I'm thankful for Mom because,
Ooh,
do you remember? What would he say?
Because she cooks good food.
Because he always mentions food, doesn't he?
does.
She cooks good food. I love her food.
Her food's amazing.
And he's always said that. Were any of your siblings that way at all? Anything stands out in how they would think?
I don't know. Mom or Abby was, I don't know.
I can't remember. Abby typically would be like, because she's my best friend.
Yeah, she's my best friend.
Yeah,
usually.
so that was very important. And then let's see. Why are you thankful for Mom?
Well, she cooks good food. That's another one. She's amazing at cooking.
And so Jake and Charity are on this one together. They like Mom's food, but why else are you thankful for your mom?
Well, she's just amazing. She's taught me a lot of stuff, and over the past year and a half, we have really grown close. So I feel like I can be friends with her, not just my mom.
And of course, Bethlie's training Charity, but spends a lot of time. What do you like doing with Mom? You guys shop together.
We shop. We watch Instagram reels together.
Yeah, they sit on the couch and laugh their heads off. And I always know when Charity and Mom have been looking at Instagram reels, because my Instagram message notification has 15 reels I'm supposed to watch. Because if they send it to Dad, send it to Dad. What's your favorite Instagram reel you've seen lately?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know? Nothing jumps out at you?
Oh, there was a guy who made Nutella ice cream, and we're actually going to try that out.
Oh, is that when he puts the whipping cream
and
in the Nutella?
the heavy whipping cream in the Nutella, and you shake it around. So that's why I got the heavy whipping cream.
And then do you
today.
freeze it?
Yeah.
So once it freezes, you have Nutella ice cream?
Yeah, we're going to try it later.
Well, I wondered why we stopped by the store to buy that. So now I know.
Now you know.
So this is how we celebrate Mother's Day. We emphasize the who, Mom. We buy gifts, we plant flowers, we feast. I just love saying that. It just sounds so, we feast. And we speak gratitude. But we also, what else do we do? The last one there.
We attend church.
We do attend church. And that's just a given for our family. We go to church, we worship together, we sing together, we give, and we sit together in church and hear the Word of God taught. That's the way we celebrate as a family. And one other thing you can do, you can emphasize motherhood, but you can also build traditions. Bethlie does love flowers and food. And in my notes, I said, Bethlie loves flowers and fool. But I meant food. So I can see your little wheels turning over there.
I was trying to figure out what you meant.
She loves fools. That's not what I mean there. That's a misspelled word. Bethlie loves flowers and food. And that's why we make a big deal about cooking the meal for her on Mother's Day. There was a time we would go out to eat, but sometimes it's just you wait, and it can be so expensive on Mother's Day and all. It's just been so wonderful for us to come home. Bethlie's able, to relax, put on something comfortable, sit in the living room. Mm-hmm. She loves food. So that's a tradition in our family. The flowers, where I go on the date, buy her flowers, we come home and we plant them. That is a family tradition. The kids and I cooking for Bethlie is a family tradition and all of that. So I don't know what you should do to build traditions. I know for Mom Dennis, Bethlie's mom, the tradition for Bethlie's mom was, they'd buy presents, but her big deal was she wanted the entire family to go out to eat at a really nice place on Mother's Day. Do you remember that?
No.
No, you were pretty young, when we lived in Ohio with Mom Dennis, but she always would want us to go to some buffet, and it was expensive, and we all dressed up, it was Sunday best, and she loved that. That was a tradition, though.
Man, I missed out.
You missed out, didn't you?
I missed out.
You missed out. But it's not, the end of the world. If you don't do it that way, you have to develop your traditions. Do any of your friends have any traditions that you're aware of that would be different than ours?
I don't think.
At least nothing you're aware of?
No, not that I'm aware of, no.
Yeah. When I was a boy, with your mamaw, we would usually, have a meal, something, but we would usually buy flowers because she really liked flowers. And so those are traditions. You men in daddies, build some traditions so that your children, Mother's Day is about mom, but it's about traditions that honor mom. Build those into your life. Now, there can be special cases, and we don't have just a few moments here. This will not be a very long Mother's Day podcast, but there can be special cases. And I not only wanted to just ask the question, who do you celebrate on Mother's Day, and how should we celebrate Mother's Day? But here's a good question. What about those special cases? And I thought of at least two. Maybe there's a special case that your mother has either passed away or, and I say this gently, your mother either passed away or was a failure. And that is entirely possible. And so a couple of thoughts I would give you about that. Don't make the day about you. The danger when you're at that stage of life where maybe your mom was a failure or your mother is no longer with you is that the day becomes about your grief or your anger or your frustration. Don't make it about that. Make it about gratitude. And first of all, if your mother's passed away, make it about remembering her. And remember, she did this and she was like this. She was amazing and I miss her. And I'm thankful for her for this and I'm thankful for her because of that. Mom at least did. If your mother was a failure, think in terms of mom at least did this. And if there's not anything at all you can think of, then be thankful for the fact that God intervened in your life, that you are where you are now in spite of the failure of a mom, and you're doing well. You can turn a very negative situation into a positive. So speak gratitude. Don't make the day about you. Speak gratitude and speak memories. Even negative memories sometimes need to be stated. Just say, my situation with my mom was tough. Mom was like this, or mom failed here, or this was a problem in our family. Those just sometimes need to be mentioned. But if possible, focus on all the positives. In every situation, you can usually find something that's positive. So speak memories. And number 4, I learned in Psalm 119 in the section called Daleth. I think it begins in verse 25. And in that passage, one of the things that the psalmist said in Psalm 119 is he says, I have declared my ways. He's talking about how he needs God to work in his afflictions and problems, but he has declared his ways. And it made me realize, moms, listen, we can't change the past, but we can choose. We can choose our direction. We can work to be different, and we can work to be better, and that's a wonderful way to live. So if your mother has passed away or was a failure, don't make the day about you. Work at that. Instead, make it about gratitude. Make it about memories. Make it about the direction you want to go. And then what about if your heart is hurting? What if maybe you've lost a child or you've had a miscarriage? In some way, because of some hurt that happened between you and your mother. Well, I want to just remind you of 3 things here. If your heart is hurting, celebrate motherhood because it is wonderful. and it is important. So celebrate it and pray about your hurt. God does care. The Bible says, casting all your care upon him, for he cares for you. Just make sure that you're praying about your hurt, letting God walk with you through that and help you through that. You can talk to God and just say it. So pray about your hurt, but talk about your hurt as well. Talk about it and search for healing. If you need to get counsel, get it. If you need to, find a friend and just spill all the hurt out, maybe just even say to a friend, I just need to talk about something. I don't really need you to respond, but would you just be willing to listen and just talk about it? And the idea, though, in talking about it is that you're searching for some healing for your heart. Motherhood is wonderful. I had a wonderful mom. Bethlie, my mom is still alive, and Mom, I don't think you listen to podcasts, but if you do, happy Mother's Day. Bethlie has been an awesome mom. Bethlie is an amazing mom. She's fiercely loyal, fiercely loving. She is fiercely for righteousness. You will do right, or she will pray the wrath of God down on your head. Is that right, Charity? Mm-hmm. So happy Mother's Day, Bethlie. And Bethlie's mom is in heaven. Bethlie had a wonderful mom. Mom Dennis was fierce as well. She was a fiercely loyal, fiercely loving, fiercely defended righteousness. Is that right, Charity?
Yeah.
And she was amazing. So just happy Mother's Day. Charity wanted to come on with me today because, Charity, what do you want to say to your mom?
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. And I wish Abby could join us, and Joshua and Matthew and Jacob. That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Whole one.
And so Bethlie Joy, from each of your children, happy Mother's Day. And dear friends, for all of you out there who are mothers, Charity and I just want to say to you, happy Mother's Day as well. And you husbands and daddies out there, you sons and daughters out there, make sure that you celebrate Mother's Day. Well, Charity, what did you think about coming on the podcast for the first time ever? What did you think about it?
It was cool.
Think it's cool?
Mm-hmm.
Think you'd want to do this again?
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're voting thumbs up that Charity does this again, send us a message like this, share this. And we're going to have Charity back on. This was kind of a trial run here on Mother's Day, but we're going to have her back on and just talk about life with what it means to be a evangelist daughter.
Yeah, we can finally get to the evangelist life
Absolutely.
part of it.
Charity believes, ladies and gentlemen, that we talk about the family all the time and marriage, but never about ministry. And I remind her that ministry is family and family is ministry.
Well, it is, but you don't get the dirt.
Well, what dirt are you thinking there is out there? Now the crowd's going to want you to come back on. You don't get the dirt?
Just the fun stuff.
Oh, fun stuff doesn't mean dirt.
Got just deep stuff.
Charity has an idea, friends. She thought that maybe she should buy herself a video camera and just start a Keeping It Young, Keeping It Real edition.
Oh, yeah.
And every time her mother and I have a disagreement, she's going to videotape it and share it to the world. And call it Keeping It Young in Real Time.
Yes.
And so we're not going to let her do that. We're not going to let her do that. But thank you so much for joining us today here at Keeping It Young. Mm-hmm. Hope you enjoy this special edition. And Charity, thank you for joining us today as well.
Yeah, no problem.
Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. And whatever you do this week, make sure that you celebrate motherhood and make sure that you serve the Lord with gladness.
The Keeping It Young podcast is a Bax 5 Media production.